Good day from me, Advocate Nadene, Badenhorst, the Legal Counsel of Freedom of Religion South Africa, or 4SA. And this morning I want to give you an update on the easing of restrictions that apply to religious gatherings, as well as a status update regarding 4SA's court case against government in this regard. Now, firstly, then, President Ramaphosa last night announced that in light of the significant drop of active cases in South Africa, the entire country would be moving to level 1. And this means that as from today, religious gatherings can meet with up to 100 people for an indoors meeting and 250 people for an outdoors meeting, except that in smaller venues where they cannot accommodate these numbers, they are restricted to 50% of the capacity of the venue. At all times, however, there needs to remain strict observance of the health, sanitization and social distancing protocols, and this includes the wearing of masks that remains compulsory. Because social gatherings are allowed as well, that means that congregants can meet in smaller groups in homes, but again, this remains subject to adherence to the social distancing, health and sanitization protocols. Now, this easing of the restrictions on religious gatherings is of course great news, and 4SA welcomes this announcement by the President that will certainly assist a great deal of religious organizations in South Africa. It still does not, however, assist many of the larger organizations who can comfortably and responsibly meet with many more numbers at one time, perhaps a few hundred or even a few thousand, and who many would argue should be able to accommodate up to 50% of the capacity of the venue. Now, this then brings me to the second issue that I want to speak to, and that is the court case that 4SA instituted against government in the Johannesburg High Court in January this year. Now, that court case was instituted at a time when there was a complete ban on religious gatherings throughout the country, and the purpose of the court case was to go to court on an urgent basis to lift this ban on religious gatherings. Now, of course, you will remember that literally on the evening before the court case was set down for hearing on the 2nd of February, and the night before, President Ramaphosa again spoke to the nation, and he announced that the complete ban on religious gatherings would be lifted. This, of course, obviated the need for us to urgently argue the case in court the next morning. But it does not mean, however, that the entire court case has now fallen away, because there are some in-principle issues that remain. In this regard, in particular, government is expecting a third wave of the pandemic in the winter months, potentially even further waves, and therefore it remains important for us to establish a principle, a precedent regarding the basis on which and the reasoning on which government can lawfully restrict religious gatherings. Now, today, 4SA, as well as other applicants who have brought similar applications to court, namely the South African National Christian Forum, Solidariteit Helpende Hand, as well as the Muslim Lawyers Association, will be filing supplementary papers in the court case. And thereafter, government will have an opportunity to reply. Then further sets of papers will be exchanged, heads of argument. And so no court date has been fixed for the hearing of the matter yet, because the matter isn't ripe for hearing yet. But we will advise you of a court date in due course. I do want to say that we have an outstanding team of external lawyers who have drawn alongside 4SA to give high-level expertise, to give a great deal of their time and effort to make sure that our freedom as believers remain protected in this case. And all of them are doing so without the expectation of external compensation, out of the generosity of their hearts and out of a conviction about the importance of people of faith meeting together, even in, or perhaps particularly in this time. This means, however, that all of them have less time available to do paying work. And so I do want to ask you this morning, won't you stand with us to protect faith and freedom in this country by making a financial contribution to this case? Your contribution will help us firstly to cover the unavoidable necessary disbursements involved in litigation, but then secondly, to actually make a financial contribution towards these lawyers who are so selflessly and sacrificially giving of their expertise, their time and their efforts to protect our freedom as people of faith, to not only believe in our hearts, but also to give practical and visible effect to our faith by being able to meet together, to worship together, to pray together, and to fellowship together as commanded by the scriptures. For more information about this case and also how to make a financial contribution, visit the 4SA website at www.4sa.org.za. Finally, I do want to ask, please pray for us as we continue to engage with government, as we continue to prepare for this court case, that God will make our efforts successful. And thank you for standing with us in protecting our faith and our freedom. Until next time, goodbye.